Gravity is the core architectural force of the cosmos. As described by Newton's law of universal gravitation, it is the invisible tension that holds the entire universe in a delicate, precise equilibrium. If that tension snapped, specifically if the gravitational constant suddenly and instantaneously dropped by exactly 50%, the consequences would reach far beyond human weight. Popular culture usually paints this as a bouncy, carefree playground. You might picture yourself effortlessly floating down the street, casually lifting heavy objects, or performing superhuman leaps. In reality, long before you could even attempt that first jump, the air in your lungs and the rock beneath your feet would violently turn against you. A 50% drop in gravity triggers a systemic failure that immediately unravels the structural binding of the planet. Atmospheric pressure is a product of gravity. It is the physical weight of a massive column of gas being pressed down against the Earth's surface. Having gravity instantly cuts the weight of that column in half, dropping sea level pressure to roughly 50%. This is the physiological equivalent of suddenly teleporting the entire global population to an altitude of 15,000 feet, inducing immediate mass hypoxia. This diagram illustrates Henry's law, the relationship between dissolved gases and surrounding pressure. When ambient pressure suddenly halves, the nitrogen safely dissolved in our blood plasma can no longer stay in solution. Because the drop is instantaneous, you can't exhale this nitrogen. Instead, it nucleates within your vascular system, forming rapidly expanding microbubbles in your veins. These expanding bubbles create mechanical blockages known as arterial gas embolisms. They immediately halt blood flow to critical organs, triggering massive strokes and cardiovascular collapse. The atmosphere weaponizes against the body so rapidly that the mammalian biosphere is entirely eradicated by explosive decompression sickness within minutes. As the atmosphere expands outward, the oceans undergo their own violent reorganization. Without the full inward pull of gravity to hold the water in place, the outward centrifugal force generated by the Earth's rotation suddenly dominates the hydrosphere. Massive volumes of ocean water flee the polar and temperate regions, surging forcefully toward the equator to form an enormous new oceanic bulge. As these surges approach shallow continental shelves, the water piles up into towering walls. These mega-tsunamis carry immense kinetic energy, surging hundreds of miles inland and scouring equatorial continents entirely down to the bedrock. Deep underground, the Earth's solid structure is maintained by lithostatic pressure, the weight of overlying rock that prevents the extremely hot mantle from melting. Having gravity instantly cuts that lithostatic pressure by 50%. This forces the deep geotherm to cross the melting threshold, instantly transforming trillions of tons of solid rock into highly buoyant, expanding magma. While the oceans wipe the surface clean, this newly liquefied mantle aggressively expands outward. It shatters the Earth's rigid, brittle crust from the inside, engulfing the entire planet in explosive global volcanism. The escape velocity formula shows that at 0.5 g, the speed to leave a planet drops significantly, aligning exactly with the circular orbital velocity. This creates a physical certainty. The speed required to stay in orbit becomes the exact speed required to permanently escape. For the Moon, Earth's gravitational grip weakens to the point of failure. It unlocks from its ancient path, flying away on a parabolic trajectory. Earth undergoes the same physical unbinding from the Sun. Our planet is instantly cast out of the solar system, transformed into a rogue planet drifting into the freezing void of interstellar space. Inside the Sun, fusion rates are determined by the square of the plasma density and the fourth power of the core temperature. As the core expands and its density drops, the proton-proton fusion chain, starved of the pressure needed to overcome electrostatic repulsion, effectively stalls. The orbital architecture that provides Earth with stable seasons and life-giving solar irradiance has completely failed. Even if a human were perfectly shielded inside a deeply buried, climate-controlled, pressurized bunker during the surface cataclysms, their body would still fail. Biology evolved for exactly 1 g. According to Wolff's law, bone density remodels based on the mechanical load placed upon it. Without that load, the skeletal and muscular systems suffer severe atrophy, while a massive upward fluid shift overloads the heart, leading to fatal pulmonary edema. To ground any remaining science fiction fantasies about easy flight, consider the birds. Because atmospheric density is also halved, generating lift requires 66